Welcome to the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hi everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. Happy Tuesday. There is so much royal news coming out that it's really hard to keep up with everything, but we have some major revelations and bombshells to share with you today. So go ahead guys, grab yourself a beverage, sit back and relax, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So the word on the street is that Prince Harry's bombshell memoir, his manuscript has finally been completed and his lawyers have signed off on it. So we've heard rumors that the publishers were going to push it for around Thanksgiving or possibly the Christmas holidays. Now I do find the timing of Harry's book to be a little bit suspect. We know that Prince William will be in Boston in December for the Earthshot Prize. And of course, Prince Harry, always trying to one-up his brother, the spare to the heir, trying to steal his thunder, because we know Meghan and Harry just love to do that to all of the other royals, kind of one-up them. Well, it's rumored that they're trying to have the book just in time for the Christmas holidays. So I think it's going to be very competitive for the Windsor brothers, because Harry is definitely trying to steal William's thunder. Prince Harry signed up the book deal last year despite issuing repeated calls for his family's privacy to be respected. It is widely anticipated to showcase his memories of his mother, the late Princess Diana, and the breakdown of his parents' marriage. How other senior royals will be depicted is unknown. Many people are curious to see how he's going to depict Prince Charles, Camilla, and of course Prince William. The Duke of Sussex said, quote, "He was writing not as the prince I was born, but as the man I have become," revealing he wanted to include the highs and lows, the mistakes, and the lessons learned. The Queen is said to have been the only member of the royal family whom the Duke of Sussex informed about his upcoming memoir. How kind of him. It is understood he is keen for the book to showcase his grandmother in a positive light. In a statement last year, Penguin Random House told the media that the upcoming book is, quote, "an intimate and heartfelt memoir from one of the most fascinating and influential global figures of our time." I'm sorry, was he talking about Harry? I don't think that's a very accurate description, but I digress. Prince Harry will share for the very first time the definitive account of the experiences, adventures, losses, and life lessons that have helped shape him, covering his lifetime in the public eye from childhood to the present day, including his dedication to service. Does he mean self-service? The military duty that twice took him to the front lines of Afghanistan, and the joy he has found in being a husband and father. Prince Harry will offer an honest and captivating personal portrait, one that shows readers that behind everything they think they know lies an inspiring, courageous, and uplifting human story. Again, still talking about Harry. I'm not finding his courage anywhere. Look, I'm not depicting his military tours of Afghanistan. I'm definitely not picking apart his childhood drama and trauma of losing his mother at a very, very young age. But I think they're being very, very loosely creative with those words there, describing his life of service, captivating global figure. That's kind of a far stretch. More like a pampered, petulant prince. Yes, a spoiled man of privilege who's never had to work a day in his life, who lectures people on climate change while flying on private jets, and who literally tells people with a straight face on national television that his daddy cut him off financially at the age of 36, only gave him $5 million for like half the year. I mean, my God, how is he expected to live off of that? Thank God he had his mother's millions to save him and his wife from having to get a job at 7-Eleven. I am sure his personal struggle of having to move from Kensington Palace to a mansion in Montecito where they have to pay for their own security and they have to pay for their own maids to clean their 14 toilets is going to make many people shed a tear for the hardships and the courage that these pampered duo has had to endure since Megxit. I'm sure it's going to be very captivating, this personal portrait of the new man that he has become, the Netflix prince of Montecito. I'm sure we're all riveted to hear about his hardships. I mean, let's be honest, living with Meghan, that's a little bit of a hardship. Forced to do word salad Zoom calls from the dungeon in your Montecito mansion. Look, he's had some hardships, okay? He's being led around by Meghan. Meghan is telling him what to do, how to think, where to go, etc. I get it. He's had hardships. So that will be very interesting to see the man he has become, because clearly he is half the man he used to be. He's like a walking shell of the previous Harry. So we're all on pins and needles to hear what he's going to tell the public about his life lessons and his uplifting human story. Because we all know Harry is the poster boy for uplifting inspiration. So another excerpt has dropped from Tom Bauer's book. Now, I still don't have my copy of the book, so I apologize if this is a little bit out of order. I'm kind of finding out tidbits of the book from the press, from other YouTubers like many of you are, but I'm going to go over this story because I do find it very interesting, and I have covered this before on my channel, but this one kind of contradicts the little fabrication that Miss Megxie told of how I didn't Google Harry. I didn't need to know anything about Harry. I just needed to know if Harry was nice. Yeah, like anyone believed that story. Even Oprah Winfrey was like, girl, please, okay? Nobody believed that Meghan Markle did not Google Prince Harry. First of all, she already knew who he was. He's Princess Diana's son. She already had watched the wedding of William and Kate, and he was the best man. Clearly, you knew who he was. Maybe you didn't know everything, but you clearly knew he was her single son, very close in age to you, the son of Princess Diana. I mean, come on. She knew who he was. But again, she likes to play the part of the hippie. I'm the girl who just does meditation and the perfect warrior pose. And I eat avocado toast and I leave everything to the universe. Bull crap. We know that Meghan is a very cold and calculating woman. She plans out everything. She's very meticulous. She's very controlling. She's very much on a woman on a mission. Meghan Markle was on a manhunt. So obviously Meghan Markle at that point knew she was approaching her 35th birthday. Suits was nearing its end. She was not getting any offers from Hollywood. Her biological clock was ticking because, you know, Meghan is so maternal. But she decided she was going to land herself a rich husband from the UK. Her little boyfriend that she was living with, Corey, wasn't cutting it for her. He was just, you know, there to pay half the rent, I guess. She was technically still living with her boyfriend when she met Prince Harry. The timeline is very, very muddled, but there is evidence that she was still living with him when she went on her first date with Harry. Now, she was set up with a mutual friend, and she lied and said, oh, I didn't Google Harry. I don't know anything about Harry. But even her former talent manager said that's not true. Meghan even Googled and researched him to death. So Tom Bauer, in his book, is definitely contradicting her previous claims that she didn't know anything about Prince Harry, and the only thing she needed to know if he was a nice person. Now, when she sat down with Oprah Winfrey, she says, quote, well, I didn't do any research about what that would mean. I've never looked up my husband online. I just didn't feel I need to because everything that I needed to know he was sharing with me, right? Everything that we thought I needed to know, he was telling me. Oh, you're such a trusting person, Meghan. Now, in 2017, when the couple announced their engagement, Meghan was asked by the BBC about how a friend set them up on a date. And she explained that being from the US, she didn't know much about the British royal family. I'm from the States. You don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family. And so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him. And so the only thing that I had asked when she wanted to set us up was one question. I said, was he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it just didn't seem like it would make sense. Huh? You know, from the typical nice girl that you are, Meghan. Meghan said in both the engagement interview and the Oprah interview that she didn't know anything about Harry and had not Googled him prior to being set up with him. So this is what Tom Bauer says about Meghan. Meghan's Google search was more forensic. As the master of the online research for the TIG, she instinctively searched Google for information. The fun-loving prince, she discovered, had adopted Diana's compassion as a prop to support his own emotional needs. He had not only set up the Invictus Games, but he was also involved with Sentable, a charity he created in Diana's memory to help HIV sufferers in Lesotho. Saving Africa's animals was clearly also important for him. Her 2 visits to Rwanda would prove useful. Her philanthropic activism was an advantage. Now, Bauer further elaborated on the claim in an interview that she was on a manhunt. She researched Harry's weaknesses prior to meeting him. He says, quote, I think that Meghan was on a manhunt. She was looking for a husband and an English husband, and Harry was available. She carefully researched all of his strengths and, more importantly, his weaknesses. When that moment came, when she first met him, she could easily, because she's an extraordinary good performer in those circumstances, she's an actress after all, she could reassure him that she was the one he was looking for. And he was desperately looking for somebody. He confessed he was a lonely man. He confessed he couldn't find anyone suitable. He'd gone through some very unhappy relationships, and Meghan fitted the bill. She provided everything he needed. She kind of played the mommy card, you know, filled in the gap that he was needing, that his previous girlfriends obviously weren't going to fulfill for him. And here comes Megsy filling in all the gaps, being what he needed to be, saying what he needed to hear. Again, she really pushed this relationship extremely fast and was playing upon his emotions. Again, she's a predator. Now, also in Bauer's book, he talks about Meghan's friend and former talent manager, Gina Nelthorpe-Cohn, who is quoted as saying that Meghan Googled Harry and had gone deeply into his life. This is the part in the book about Gina. Gazing at her client, Nelthorpe-Cohn thought, quote, I looked at how stunning she was, and I just thought, there's no way he's going to be able to resist her. As Meghan carried on whispering with excitement, Nelthorpe-Cohn interrupted and said, quote, do you know what you're doing? Do you know anything about him? Meghan replied, I've Googled Harry. I've gone deeply into his life. Nelthorpe-Cohn was left in no doubt that Meghan had carefully researched every aspect of Harry and his past life. She understood precisely the man she was meeting, needy, volatile, unhappy, and seeking a soulmate. I understood where she was coming from, Nelthorpe-Cohn recalled. Her dream of bagging a prince was even written in one of her old blogs from the TIG, titled At Kate's Wedding to Prince William in 2011. Meghan had written, quote, little girls dream of being princesses, and grown women seem to retain this childhood fantasy. Just look at the pomp and circumstance surrounding the royal wedding and endless conversations about Princess Kate. Nelthorpe-Cohn left the restaurant with one thought: Meghan is dreaming big. So many people, when they watched the interview with Meghan on Oprah Winfrey and on the engagement interview, no one really believed her when she's like, I didn't Google him. No, I don't know anything about Harry. it is proven that she, researched Kate. In my opinion, she was very envious of William and Catherine, especially Catherine, because Catherine got the prize. She got the future king. She was all over the press. She was the golden girl. Okay, remember when Kate got engaged, her status elevated. And when they got married, it was so magical. People were so excited that they were finally getting married after all this time, and her status completely changed overnight. So in my opinion, Meghan was very, very jealous of Kate even back then, when she was just writing about the wedding of the century on her blog, The Teague. She saw that Catherine's status had immediately elevated. Everyone knew who Kate Middleton was when she was dating Prince William, and they were calling her Waity Katie. But the minute they became engaged, it was like she became elevated to a whole new status, because now people know, okay, she's getting married to the prince and she's going to be a future queen consort. She's no longer Waity Katie or Kate Middleton, the girlfriend of Prince William. She is now the future queen. So immediately, you could probably tell by the way she was covering the wedding, she was jealous. She was jealous that Kate got the prize. Kate's going to marry the king. Meghan is never going to have that. So what does she get? Second best Harry, the spare to the heir. But even back then, in my opinion, she was very jealous of Kate. And then, of course, when she meets Kate, she immediately wants to take her down a peg, constantly competing with her, trying to put her down, and then trying to act like she's above Kate, that I'm the superstar. I'm Rachel from Suits. Don't you know who I am? I'm the star of the royal family. Step aside, Kate. So again, she thought her and Harry were going to have that Princess Diana magic. The magic in her head, the magic that she told Harry he had. Unfortunately, he did have that magic until he met Meghan, and now it's gone. And they have a different type of magic. It's called delusions of grandeur. That is the magic that these two have. So there you have it, guys. Meghan Markle was on a manhunt. She wanted to find herself a rich husband from the UK. She needed a lifeline, guys. She was on the sinking ship of her Hollywood career. She was in a dead-end relationship with Corey. It wasn't going anywhere, and she wanted to get out of Canada. So Harry was her ticket to the big time. And let's just say, girl got her goal. She set her eye on the prize, and it worked for her. But this whole little, I'm just kumbaya Meghan, and I just eat avocado toast and practice my warrior pose, and life is just a dream, is bullcrap. This was a carefully crafted plan, and many people who helped her get there were dumped along the way, including this talent manager. So there's a lot more coming, guys, and I will keep you posted. So there was a recent article and study that came out proclaiming that Prince George could very well be the tallest monarch in UK history, thanks to his tall parents, Kate and William. As we know, Kate is around 5'9", and Prince William is currently the tallest royal family member at 6'3". Now, Her Majesty the Queen is around 5'3", but she is not the shortest monarch. That actually goes to Queen Victoria, who is only 4'9". But there is a study saying that due to Prince George's parents being extremely tall, there's a very good possibility that he could reach heights of 6'5" or 6'6". Now, the tallest king on record currently is Edward IV. He is Henry VIII's grandfather, who measured in at 6'4.5". So Prince William almost was the tallest future monarch at 6'3", but I predict Prince George is going to be at least 6'4" and above. If you look at people like Donald Trump, he is 6'3". His wife Melania is 5'11", and their son Barron Trump is 6'7". Very, very tall parents have very, very tall kids. I have a friend, she's 6 foot, her husband is 6'3", and both of her boys are 6'5" and 6'6". Now, that doesn't always mean that, the children are going to be tall. Princess Diana was 5'10", Charles is 5'10", And Prince Harry is 6'1" and William is 6'3". So again, I believe all of the Cambridge children are going to be extremely tall, but Prince George could be the tallest monarch. So we will have to wait and see if he will break the record for the tallest monarch in the UK. So what do you guys think of these stories? What do you think about Harry's memoir finally being released? Do you think he's going to release it just in time for the Christmas holidays? And do you think he's going to try to outdo William with his Earthshot prize? What do you think about Meghan Markle and her manhunt? Do you believe she Googled Harry before meeting him and came up with a plan to play upon his emotions? And do you believe that Prince George is going to be the tallest UK monarch? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming to my channel. And please be sure to follow me on all of my other social media accounts. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.